the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend.
Wow. Never saw you in the king crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back. I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank, and I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in. Been the king crab's foremost patron ever since. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say. So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle... She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed. By all means. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, they're so unnatural, aren't they? Cats can have 9 lives, but humans are only entitled to 1. Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. Sank Walrus Willie's boat right from under him. Best anchovy fisher in the world, he was.
That purring sound. Mind control vibrations, I'm sure. Don't be seduced, comrades.
Oh, sorry, Medora. I didn't mean to frighten you.
Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
A source hunter? I'd like to report some dark magic. Only tainted hearts could tip as miserably as this lot.
Your head's growing more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
Been at the King Crab nearly 10 years now, personally. Seen every character you can imagine, from bums to wizards, passed through these doors for a pint and a place. I think I'm one of the last folks to hear him alive. That awful scream's been ringing in my ears ever since. And with the room where it all happened still under quarantine, we've a constant reminder of exactly what happened. Though that's the question, isn't it? What exactly did happen? We all thought it was Esmeralda who checked into that room, and the Duke that followed her in. I was washing up and nudging the last of the lushes out of the door when a cloaked woman rushed in right past me. I never got a good look at her, damn my eyes, but I figured the way she disappeared that she was visiting one of the lodgers. Lucky for the perpetrators, I was rinsing bottles in the back when the terrible deed took place and saw nothing more. I'm not proud to say I ducked under the counter and damn well stayed there till I heard Ivad fling that door open. But I was paralysed with fright.
Have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? Ha! He's been so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend. What have we here? A source hunter, is it? Well, my day just became rather more stimulating. Oh, stand still then, if you don't mind. I want to take a good long look at the so-called savior of Sicile. tall as an elf, strong as an orc, but your face... quite classical, isn't it? Statuesque, some might say. Yes, and my word, what passion burns from your eyes. Please forgive my being forward, but I dare say, can it be? That I have. For nearly a lifetime, it seems. Well, I'm sure you must know what I mean. Like existence itself lacked a significant component? Like, I believe I have found that component, that body, that spirit within you, Source Hunter. Come, if ever we are... Yes, you must join the Fabulous Five right away, as soon as time permits. Together, as a team, we'll explore the boundless realm before us. I am Anna. I've cut 1,000 throats, and baked 1,000 bread rolls, stolen the crown jewels of the Queen of Arata, and, with my pockets full, helped her reach. When the day comes that I die, the gods will evacuate the heavens to make space for my formidable collection of designer slippers. I contain multitudes, you see, and I am utterly replete. Except that, much to my dismay, I had as yet to find the companion to whom my heart... But then, Source Hunter, you wandered into this tavern, and I... Oh, yes. I am part of that band of valiant heroes, and ever there must I remain. But you, my match, my souls... You must speak with Mendius. He stands right outside this very tavern, and he alone can bring you into our illustrious fold. Then, my equal friend... Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
Ha! The closest I've come to my match is when I linger over long while lighting my pipe.
Oh, careful now. Your head's grown more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles we sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money... Sorry, I've run out of signed handkerchiefs. An Alistair keyring, maybe. In any case, make it... Really now, I can't afford to indulge in chit-chat with my legion of followers. Even a star needs a few moments to himself. What do you mean, not familiar? You expect me to believe you've never heard of Alistair the Almighty? Why, I'm only the most famous wizard this side of the distance. Although, it'd be worth checking the other side too. Justice! And don't forget, I'm the most eminent member of the Fabulous Five to boot. Surely you already know we've been voted the most influential adventurers guild by SideQuest Monthly. 3 years running. Your interest is piqued, I see. I'd suggest you have a chat with Mendius outside. He's in charge of recruitment and others. A word of warning, though, we only accept the best and the brightest. By the looks of you, I'm not sure you'll make the cut. Those nasty beasts are hardly worth my time. Though I suppose I'll step in if none of the recruits manage to prove adept enough to handle a few skeletons.
Pointless chatter with strangers does so thrill me. How did you know? Please continue interrupting my drink if you'd be so kind. How curious of you to show interest in a lonesome stranger at the bar. Let me answer by saying that who I am is hardly any of your business, and anyone with an ounce of tact would have known that already. Can I tell you? I suppose I can, and I could. But why would I turn my attention away from this whiskey when Mendius right outside is simply panting with excitement?
Ready to advance, ready to defend. What can I do for you, comrade? Ask away, my friend, ask away. Always helps to know a thing or two about who's covering your back against the gnashing horde. More than I'd hoped, comrade. I don't know what in tarnation's gotten into the townsfolk here, but there's enough dark magic running roughshod. There's Mayor Cecil's doings for one, and the mysteries of our master Thalron for another. And on top of it all, the feline menace is lurking at every hearth and shadow. It's no coincidence the Order retired me, or tried to anyhow, to such an aptly named. Way back when, the settlement was chartered as a stronghold for source hunters to keep. Don't let the name fool you, though. These days, the forest is little more than a smattering of trees and ruins. A perfect posting for an old bull and her dotage like yours truly. In the days of old, though, the forest played host to source devils of every make and kind. Hunter's Edge was a settlement of source hunters. Tasked by now, it's been centuries since anything more dangerous than a badger has come out of those woods. By and by, the source hunters moved out and regular folks set up shop. But the town's charter requires that at least one of our kind remain to keep the watch.
It's you. Just the person to answer a question that's been knocking around my mind since our first meeting. Now then, you must tell me, what's the best way of getting you to leave me alone on a more permanent basis?
Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend.
Zimbladorix! That! Ha! Quite under my spell, aren't you? Yes, my friend. Me? You mean you don't recognize me? Well, you must live under a very... Yes, that is strange. Strange indeed. But it's a strange world we live in, isn't it? A strange and magical world. Oh, you'll find out. You'll find out indeed. If I'm as good as they say I am, you'll have sprouted a pair of long purple ears in the next hour.
Hearty welcome to the King Crab Inn, and a pleasure to have you. You look like you could use a round or three, so what'll it be? Psst. Mind if we keep our voices down over that sensitive subject? Death and dark magic ain't exactly great for business, you know. That room where it happened, it was rented to a certain woman, though I regret to say I can't say exactly who. This inn isn't in the business of asking many questions, if you know what I mean. She came heavily cloaked, but paid the full sum in advance. I was used to such transactions after many similar concerning a certain Esmeralda. Figured this were just more at the same. I saw one other figure go into the room that night. Someone tall, built broad like a man, but shrouded the same as she. Again, standard practice for Mrs. Counsellor and her visitors. I was startled awake by a horrendous hubbub shortly after midnight. I jumped up and grabbed me grandpappy's machete, bleary-eyed and awash. By the time I burst into that room, it was horribly silent. There was only Jake on the floor, dead, surrounded by what may as well have... Whoever done it has escaped through the window. But I saw nary a soul when I looked out. You can bet I hightailed it to the Legion barracks faster than a jackrabbit after that. Councillor Jake, that poor man. I knew too much about his affairs, you know. Never figured it my business to say anything, but after all that's happened, I wonder if that weren't a grave mistake. Esmeralda's longest-standing lover has the audacity to remain lodged at this very inn, you know? He's called the Duke of Ferrol, a high title for a low man. If you haven't yet asked him about Esmeralda, I'd recommend it. Well, between you and me, things have been rather slow since the, incident. But with spirits high and liquor flowing like it is tonight, the name's Ivad. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I've been offering the weary travellers of Sicile drink and rest for nearly 2 decades now, but the king crab's old. All you see before you is the manifestation of my great-grandpappy Horatius Dungeness's noble vision. Beer and naps for everyone. No questions asked.
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles we sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
Greetings, traveller. And may the Immaculate Conduit's myriad blessings comfort and cradle you. You mean you haven't heard? Oh, what fortune that I may share the goddess's self. Steel yourself, friend, for your mortal spirit could be forever transformed from this moment forth. The Conduit are linked to the goddess herself. By following her instructions and becoming initiated into the one way, we can each of us live on for a span greater. She came from on high to we mortals and showed us the path to the goddess, where all living souls are not. She showed us that injury and malady need not mark the end of life, but that through her methods we could ascend to greater life in service of the... For this hallowed information, you must seek an immaculate chapel. Go north, friend, through the forest and into the there, among her followers and friends, dwells the goddess's... What's in a name, dear friend? For we all begin equal in the Conduit's eyes, and only through great deeds may enter into her inner ring. Go on the path to the righteous, my friend. Forget not that the Conduit...
He says he's an immaculate. But I thought they'd been banished after the death of the Source King.
Immaculate? Haven't heard of their kind, but I don't like the sound of them.
He's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt.
Greetings, Source Hunter. I don't mean to hinder your investigation, but I can't open this door for anyone who hasn't received Captain Aureus' explicit approval.
A source hunter. Don't tell me we've got to worry about dark magic on top of it all. Praise be that Ahu the wizard built those newfangled weapons of his. Seal would have long been overrun by undead if it weren't for that. About time the council took notice of us. Are you here for the bone rattlers?
Greetings, greetings. Oh, you are most welcome in my chamber. Customers rarely find me up here, but I do so abhor the hustle and bustle of the marketplace. That I am. I have spent more of my life on the road travelling alongside great caravans than I have in any given place in Rivellon. All of this earth is my home, for a few days or even but a... You wouldn't believe some of the things I have seen. Oh yes, a city besieged by the dead isn't even remotely special to me. All the better that it isn't. For you and for me. Oh, but let us not discuss. Let us browse and barter.
quill is disgusting. Folks say it was Esmeralda who killed Councillor Jake, but I didn't see her here the night of the murder. Then again, she might have just gotten an... Folks say it was Esmeralda who...
Dancing dugongs, you nearly startled me out of my boots. Well, you've got my attention, comrade.
Folks say it was Esmeralda who killed...
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
must be some way to open this. Fastened tighter than the treasury.
under lock and key.
Enemies have lain a trap.
This will is...
only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
It was Esmeralda who... Folks say... This would...
God sleeps this evil from my blood.
Hold! Our enemies have lain a trap.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
Watch out! I smell... Oh, the fierce stench of frightened source goblin.
Actually, I think that's only roast pig.
Ah, yes. Yes, of course. This time.
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
Sightseal isn't so bad on a quiet day like this, is it?
It's heating up.
I'll figure out who murdered Jake before the day's through. Just you wait.
Sir, no, sir.
I've just got back from the realm of fairy. It was lovely, but I should have...
Next orcish strike could land at any moment.
About face!
What have we here, then? A so-called source hunter, eh? Well, look, do what you must in Sightseal, but don't make waves and don't interfere with the gods above! Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar! Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother, but he just had to send for source hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They say, nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop. Understand? I am in command of this town, not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined, but report back to me that the scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Esmeralda is Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now, the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice as evidence, wouldn't you say? Or do source hunters rely on hearsay? What? You're going to stand there and claim with a straight face your order never wrongly tortured and executed anyone? Hardly. But I won't stand for such nonsense. If you bring evidence before me, I'll evaluate it with perfect objectivity. The Legion relies on reason, see? Not idle superstition. So, you found a blooded knife in Esmeralda's cellar. Guess you can scratch the top candidate off your list of cliched clues, then. Not how to plan the perfect murder. Really? Really? She might as well wear a dress with the words "I killed Jake and I liked it" embroidered on it. I'm Captain Aureus, if you must know, leader of the Legion in Sightseal. By which I mean I have the enviable task of commanding a battalion of walking dead. for I fear it may well be but a matter of time before the undead undo all my soldiers and turn them into drivelling... If you must. Yes, and he also spends most of his time in the guise of a cat, licking God's knows which body parts. Sects, sorcerers. He'll be seeing flying carpets next. How am I enjoying it? Are you spoiling for a fight, Hunter? Are you? Syceal stinks of fish, reeks of orcs, and on a good day the wind disperses the stench of decomposing corpses. I can't remember the last time I had a proper piece of steak, and by now I retch at the mere sight of sardines. So in conclusion, I'd say they're looking for weak spots in our defences. They can't make an attack over land for fear of Ahu's magical machines, so they're trying their luck by sea. They won't succeed, though. We are the pride of Rivellon, to be found and to be seen everywhere. We don't hide in the dark and lurk in corners like some I could mention. No, we protect the civilized from the barbaric, and we do so in... Bravo! Figured that one out, did you? I haven't been stuck here for 2 years because we're being besieged by fluffy kittens, you know. Those brain-feasting freaks out there keep on coming, and it takes all the sword arms and all of Ahu's half-baked contraptions to keep them at bay. Keeping them at bay, that is all we do. Were that I could break their backs once and for all.
I hope your quest fares well, dear hunter. But certainly. What would you like to know? Oh, but that's not a trick. It's a blessing. Or does it surprise you that I enjoy taking a... Such magic is a gift, hunter. To tread upon the realm of instinct. Even articulate speech. Perhaps humanity's greatest asset cannot to be out in the night. To stalk on silent paws and hunt with only the moon as your witness. You couldn't possibly imagine the thrill. But of course it's handy to speak in more than meows. And I couldn't brew potions or make machines without opposable thumbs. This I freely admit. Oh, that'll never happen. Granted, a witch could make the polymorph permanent if she'd enchant me in my cat guise, but I'll just have to be careful around witches, won't I? I'm my own wizard, you know, and I don't intend to become anyone's Oh, I am but a wizard, a guardian of man and beast, and indeed I am both. My body, like any other, is bound to temper. My task upon this earth is to protect the heart of nature, the very antithesis of which is the intrigue spun. You see, my one desire is to witness a world in which every mother looks around her and purrs with calm contentment, for she knows that her chicks or children are cut. To my great regret, none of them purr as yet. By all means. Of course, I hope your investigation fares well. I can but piece together what few morsels fell from the grapevine into a rather disappointing meal, I'm afraid. They say a woman arrived in the King Crab Inn sometime after midnight. She retired to a room on the ground floor where she was soon joined by a man who had been nursing a... I say man and woman because both of them were cloaked and recognized by none. About an hour later, another figure arrived, headed for the same room. Soon after, a terrible... It took a while for the landlord to pluck up the courage to enter the mystery room. When finally he did, he found Jake there, dead. How and why he came to be there, no one knows. But I had a good look around the scene of the crime before the Legion barred anyone from entering. The traces of magic I felt were vile. Source, no doubt. I myself have none, even though the rest of the town has already mentally tried and convicted Jake's wife, Esmeralda. Now, it may well be established that she is, in fact, the guilty party. I'm not claiming that I'm certain she's innocent, but let's just say that if I really thought this murder case would be so very I can't say much more but that they're madmen, all the more dangerous to us because of their alliance with what should be a natural enemy. You won't see me teaming up with a terrier in a hurry. And what might those be? Oh, a mere trifle for one with the intellect of a feline and the engineering skills of a human. You basically construct a classic ballista, add a 100% legally obtained self. Those who are raising the dead dwell among us. They simply must be. But even though I've spent many a night leaping from tree to rooftop, watching on as citizens stagger home from... The enemy is wily. They know us better than we know them, and they've found ways to avoid both detection and distrust. Yet I am somehow convinced that you may succeed where the Legion and I have failed. Call it in. You have a flair for understatements, Hunter. I'm sure they are but a minor nuisance in the eyes of a born warrior. But to the until they conclude what mischief they intend to see through, or, less likely, they are conclusively defeated, we can but bar the gates and hole up like mice while the cats are on the prowl.
What's that gleam?
that. No talking to these scoundrels, criminal scum.
I'll thank you to take a step in another direction. This is the Legion treasure room, and you've no business bothering with it. Your not-so-sterling reputation have...
Do you hear that clinking? I think someone's...
What do you think you're doing?
Sorry, sir.
Source Hunter. A sight for sore eyes, if ever there was one. I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, but truth be told, the Legion... We've been conducting a series of expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success. Lieutenant Selenia, at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second-in-command, but rest assured, I am a lot more kindly. Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition, and even rivalry between our orders. And that is exactly what your presence in Sicil is, Source Hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. If ever we want to be victorious in Sicil, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising. Under the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched to do just. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation. The lighthouse, the burial mounds, and the old church. Places fraught. There's a lighthouse to the west, up on the bluffs, overlooking the sea. No man has gone there in a decade, and yet a light shines from its pinnacle every night. The locals say it's haunted, and half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out whether or not those are mere tall tales. I fear for their safety. There are ancient burial grounds to be found north of the city. As good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say? A local archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be of use to them. There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the Source. The Sicilians razed it, and built a church for the 7 instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery. All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition. So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home.
Welcome to the Town Hall of Syseal. Mayor Cecil is waiting for you inside.
Welcome to the Town Hall of Syseal. Mayor Cecil is waiting for you inside.
A source hunter! Oh, what a sight for sore Sicilian eyes! Me? I live alone here in town. Used to be that my younger brother Tom and I were practically joined at the hip, but that's all changed now. Oh, he's always been something of a rascal, calling his petty hooliganism adventuring and endlessly worrying my poor mind. Oh, but of course, for my part, I encouraged him to join the Legion. Even got him sparring with Captain Aureus now and then. But then those blasted Fabulous Five came into town. That band of... I don't even know what to call them. Well, they're his heroes, and I simply couldn't prevent him from going to see them. That one meeting was all it took for Tom to run off with them on some mission to God knows where.
What? Oh, it's you. Come closer, then. Closer, huh? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. Our city welcomes you. That depends. What kind of berries are you interested in, exactly? Ah, the library. Yes, yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of Syseal. Would you like to have a look? I'll escort. Marvelous. Follow me, then. What? Oh, yes. This library is the jewel in Syseal's crown. The beacon of culture and learning in our fair city. My Victoria has every volume you could possibly imagine, and she's got every speck of information about this place packed into her brilliant brain. Yes, Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so long ago. Ah, it brings a tear to my eye just seeing her here among her beloved books. What? Oh, yes, yes. I'll be on my way back downstairs now. Please introduce yourself. I know Victoria will be happy to make your acquaintance.
Still hasn't been returned.
The lesser key of Salacandras. What nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library? Omnes autem mali demones quam.
Volume 1.
What? What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? By Naga the Protector, they have the manners of Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken, for you hardly resemble the local fisherfolk, which, incidentally, is a compliment of copious dimensions indeed. No, a source hunter, that is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery, a chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for I take no pleasure in the company of man. I would tell you my reasons, but it seems rather pointless to do so, seeing that quite clearly there is no room left in your No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for.
Brief history of sorcery still hasn't been
The
returned.
Encyclopedia
Fellow will have to
Demonium.
pay yet
I
another
know it
fine.
by heart.
Kaj Dinor. A brief history of
No,
sorcery still
this
hasn't
isn't
been
the
returned.
grimoire I'm looking
Veleron
for.
will have to pay yet another fine.
The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
In the name of Amun-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Geta Hal. Be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine.
Key of Salakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library? The Lesser Key of Salakandras.
I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Sicil toward the sea.
Ugh, what nonsense.
The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amun-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own, this kindest of souls, taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian. Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow so that others may enjoy them too. Tujda, friend.
I need something more advanced. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
Volume 1, Volume 2. But where has the third one gone?
The Lesser Key of Salakandras.
Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. And the first edition, too. Most promising. No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for.
The Knight in See-Through
The Encyclopedia Daemonium.
Princess Buttercup
I
with the
know it
blushing
by heart.
Stecken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
Demonology for dumbbells. Ugh. I need something more advanced. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
The Knight in See-Through armor. Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom. Stecken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all
Demonology
things
for
naughty, hasn't she?
dumbbells. Ugh. I need something more advanced. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Kaj Dinor. A brief history of sorcery
Now
still
this
hasn't
is
been returned.
Salakandras.
Veleron will have to pay yet another
nonsense.
fine.
Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
The Knight in See-Through armor. Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom. Stecken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't
I
she?
need something more advanced. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Volume 1, Volume 2. But where's the third one gone? Sharp sword.
The Lesser Key of Salakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
The Knight in See-Through armor. Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom. Stecken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Volume 1.
This isn't
Volume
the
2.
grimoire I'm looking for.
Where's the third one gone?
The Encyclopedia Daemonium.
Sometimes I think these books
know
sprout
it
little
by
eggs
heart.
in the night.
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Celeron will have to pay yet another fine.
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Kajdanor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Celeron will have to pay yet another fine.
No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
Armor. Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom. Stentaken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Replace this book here. A volume of poetry among novels. Murak. Mayhem.
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Kajdanor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Celeron will have to pay yet another fine.
Demonology for dumbbells. Ugh. I need something more advanced. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
A volume of poetry among novels. Murak. Mayhem.
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. And the first edition, too. Most promising.
Replace this book here. A volume of poetry among novels. Murak. Mayhem.
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
The knight in see-through armor. Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom.
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. And the first edition, too. Most promising. The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Where's the third one gone? Hello again, adventurer. I hope you wiped those muddy boots on your way in.
No.
Oh, he's always been something of a rascal, calling his petty hooliganism adventuring, and then for my part, I encouraged him to join the Legion. That band of... oh, I don't even know what to call them.
Hey, stop that! What? Oh, hello again. Please tell me how I can help you during your investigations. I know your plate is full enough to fill you for days. My dear girl, my darling adopted daughter, my pride and joy. I introduced her to my library when she was a girl. She quickly proved that the preconceptions we humans hold of orcs as savage beasts are patently false. If you're looking for something special, just ask. She knows every book by heart. Papa's smart little cookie. My elf? What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Sicil, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite eager to see Sicil through these difficult times. Yes. Oh, what? Oh, you mean Sicil. Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jake, and by source magic no less, weren't enough. We're also the undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of savaging our beaches. That's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult and, while we're on the subject of troubles, I myself have a private matter I'd like to bring to your attention. It involves a magic relic I rather foolishly sought. A weapon called the Staff of Pergamon. What now? Oh, you're speaking gibberish. Ah, you mean the Staff of Pergamon. Yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo was this very powerful, very rare staff. Cecil proved an old fool, though. For the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong hands, and I wonder if you could retrieve it for me. His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Sicil harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the lead. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead. Well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if you really are... You see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice, well, rather... Oh, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about the birds and the bees when Sicil's under siege by orcs, undead, and cultists. What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years, those blasted skeletons have all but suffocated this city. With all but one trade route overrun, Jake murdered? Oh, yes, now I recall. Indeed, I could hardly believe it myself. The Council and I have certainly had our differences over the years, but old squabbles evaporate. Most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, the Legion have taken her into protective custody to keep her safe from the mob. As you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit, suggestive. But I've never had cause to suspect her of violence. Still, one never knows for sure. An all-right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Sicil is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor.
I knew that dark-dealing old man dabbled in sorcery. To the gallows, I say.
The gallows? Well, I've heard of such a thing, but I've never seen one myself. I don't think I care to either.
Mood for cheese. No excuses, more holes to the slice of this fine almond
Lonesome? Spiritless? Perhaps wrestling an earth elemental will inject some vim into your routine.
Careful, comrades. I've seen sorcerers infuse even lowly fowl with dark enchantments.
Nonsense, venerable one. Those are only chickens.
Fantastic!
Juicy ones at that.
Enjoying the fair, aren't you? Of course you are. Entertainment is Katerina's #1 export. Right away, my dear, just as fast as your boots can carry you. You've found something decent to perform, I trust, and you've gathered enough actors to do it justice?
Come on!
Speak to Master Chaucer if you're ready for your debut. He alone can add a...
Fantastic!
Today, come on! Come on! There's a stage calling you!
Fantastic! Bravo! Bravo!
Come on! Come on! Can't you hear the stage calling you? What is it this time? Katerina's given the go-ahead, has she? Oh, very well. Tell me when you're ready to begin, and I'll show you to your places and gather you whatever crowd of drunken yokels can be prevailed upon to watch you flail about on stage. Ready for your trial by fire, you mean? There's no more savage foe than an audience, my dear. But I'm sure you'll do just fine. Not planning on playing to an empty audience, are you? Wait until I've gathered some victims to witness the spectacle, and then you can begin. Any last...
You hear distant mutterings of curiosity as a small crowd shuffles toward your stage. A few moments longer, and everyone will be seated. Now, let's not be hasty. They may be dragging their...
Performers, showmen, show all of them.
Fantastic!
Bravo!
Bravo!
Ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next show. Autographs will have to wait until the end. Today, I think, a king.
My word!
Fantastic!
What is it this time? Katerina's given... Tell me when you're ready to begin, and I'll show you to your places and gather you whatever crowd... Oh, here we... Not planning on playing to an empty audience, are you? Wait until I've gathered...
You hear distant mutterings of... Now, let's not be... Now, let's not be hasty.
What is it this time? Really? Really? Fine. You were absolutely, utterly, inarguably the... We're glad you asked. Performers, showmen, show all of Sicil what you're made of.
My word. Ordered a contest across his realm.
Fantastic!
Today, I think, a king. The great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Sigurd himself, that the king had a great thirst of colour. So ardently crave greeny blues and gory reds that he ordered a contest across his realm.
Sigurd's beard! What a find!
Maybe now you can learn something useful, like how to wash your underthings.
Everything we do seems to fortify your abilities. Have no fear, my friend. I'm determined to prove my worth.
Fantastic!
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti... Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next...
Back for more, I see. Well, I can't say I'm surprised. What with Stefan rattling off legendary yarn. Are you impressed by my prowess in the arts of entertainment? Nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. And that crowd warmer has increased my profits by 60%. Yes, I know of that talentless bull. He was here entertaining the troops before I was brought in. I'm sure the hacks enter Reginald the Illusionist. We need our boys in... Why do I care what tall tales you've heard about Stefan's origins? Try to do something about it.
You can hardly walk off with a talking head in the middle of a crowded
You
fair.
don't look like someone who's
We'll
never been
just have to think of
serenaded by a
something more
seven-head.
clever than daylight robbery.
Right on!
Today, I think,
A talking head? What dark sorcery is this?
Oh, a strange fellow, isn't he? Enjoying the fair, aren't you? As I said, speak to my...
Come on! Come on! Can't you hear the stage calling you?
Fantastic! Bravo! Bravo!
You there! You look... What is it this time? Oh, here we go. Again. Try not to embarrass yourself too terribly. Wouldn't we all? But unlike a true thespian, you haven't a scrap of material to work with. Must I spell out every step along the way? To the... Oh, not planning on playing to an empty audience, are you? Wait until I've gathered some victims to witness the spectacle, and then you can begin.
You hear distant mutterings of curiosity as a small crowd shuffles toward your stage. A few moments longer, and everyone will be seated.
If I wanted to wait around doing nothing, I'd get a job at court.
The stage is yours.
To wait around doing nothing, I'd get a job at court. Oh, I hope there's an encore.
The audience sneers. Perhaps this isn't how they're used to the story going.
No, I hope there's an encore. Fantastic.
By the seven, what a tale!
Bravo!
The crowd is thrilled. Whatever will happen next is sure to excite them.
Good show!
Good show.
Fantastic!
The crowd seem quite impressed with your delivery. Keep it up.
Encore. Simply marvelous.
Bravo!
Oh, I would. Simply marvelous.
Oh, I hope there's an encore.
Simply marvellous. Oh, I hope there's an encore.
Bravo!
The crowd gasps. They're on the edge of their seats. Go on. Push them over.
Bravo!
Bravo! Bravo!
Fantastic!
Oh, I hope there's an encore.
Fantastic!
Gasps ring out across the audience. They must know how it ends. They simply must.
Bravo!
Oh, I hope...
The crowd explodes into applause and appreciation. You've woven them a tale of desperation and hope, and they are alive with the...
Took my breath away, it did.
Come on! Come on! Can't you hear the stage calling you?
Good show!
Good show!
Bravo!
What is it this time? Bravo! Bravo! Well, I'm certainly not afraid of admitting when I'm wrong. That was, well, nearly enjoyable. I suppose you earned yourself a little something for your trouble. Wouldn't you agree?
Fantastic! Bravo! Bravo!
No. Really? I hadn't noticed. If not for this... You there? You look like an actor just waiting for his big debut. What is it this time?
Enjoying the fair, aren't you? Of course you are. Entertainment is Katerina's #1 export to this gloomy town. As I said, speak to Master...
Can't you hear the stage calling you?
Fantastic! Bravo! Bravo!
My word!
Performers, showmen, show all of the... Sicil, what you're made of. Apart from beer and flatulence.
Bravo! Yeehaw!
Performers, showmen, show all of the... Sicil, what you're made of. What is it this time? Now, let's not make a scene. I already told you.
Step right up!
My word!
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti...
My
Today,
word!
I think, a king. The great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines. It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to...
Greetings, Source Hunter. I don't mean to hinder your investigation. Not exactly the friendliest bloke, the captain, is he? Well, your reward for getting your ear chewed off is a waltz through the town's finest magical murder scene.
It's official. The Duke of Ferrol is the worst poet in Rivellon.
In his defense, not much rhymes with murder.
Looking good. Looking good.
Welcome back, Source Hunters. I've been eagerly expecting you. You found another star stone, haven't you? Go on, go on. Ask me how I know. Aha! Mere child's play when you know what to look for. And luckily, I do. Do you remember when you first arrived on this plane? When the dormant portal that led us to this hall sprang? It happened again, my friend. Another portal has reignited. The end of time is growing by the stone. It's all connected somehow. You, this place, the void, the stones. Soon we'll have unraveled the whole truth. Oh, you don't imagine that I'd presume to explore it before you? No, 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 that would be most unmannerly. And not to mention, well, no, I'm sure it's nothing. It's just that beyond the portal, I sense a presence that I can't quite account for. It is at once powerful and... But this is only speculation, of course. Come, come, let me show you the way. Once you're through, you'll be able to report exactly what we're dealing with. I wonder who awaits you in the next chamber. I wonder what they'll say. I wonder who awaits you in the next chamber. I wonder what they'll say.
What an impressive room.
So it is. A hall fit for kings.
You. It cannot be you. But it can only be you. The Guardians. Those. But oh, how weak you have become. As weak as you used to be strong. Look about you. You used to lead, and now you've... That it has come to this. Woe to the world that it has come to this.
He won't believe me, the fiend. But they have come, as I prayed they would. Could they save me?
Not even worth the rummaging.
Well, wouldn't you look fine with a strapping warrior at your side? Or is it mages you prefer? An eagle-eyed ranger? A stealthy pickpocket? Take your pick of my swords for... Of course, Chief. But maybe you ought to get rid of some of your... old ones first. Never...
Careful, comrade. I think I sense a sorcerer in, but what'll you do if you stumble upon a cast of enraged source crabs? Well, I reckon I'll keep a lookout on the shelter plain until you...
Back again, and not a moment too soon. Wait till you see the fight. I thought you'd never ask. Here the... back again, and not...
Careful, comrade. I think I sense a source. Onward! Sword to sword, comrades!
Who do you think the creature in there was?
I haven't the foggiest. But the eerie bit is that she seems to know us.
Great absence eternity or the finality of tick-tocking time? How might I serve our mission? Threads I weave and tales I see, all will I tell. She is one whose history is shrouded in darkness. She is more than a woman, though less than a goddess. She knows you. You have wronged her. She is part of... The threads tell me that once... Oh, how many eons lie hidden in so small a word. Once, you strode across that hall in shining armor, a sovereign to all who beheld your might. I can clearly read that armies you have led, demons and dragons you have conquered, that you have... But how can this be now that you stand before me a human, a mortal? How far has your soul fled from the being it used to be? New threads, more threads we need. Ask, and I shall answer, if I can.
To see you on the shelter plane. A home away from home, is it not? Most certainly. Like you, she is a mystery. But she seems to know you, doesn't she? Perhaps you'll meet her again and we'll learn more about her. Ah, yes, the Hall of Heroes. Once upon a time, great feasts were held there in honor of heroes graced by the gods. Then I can't think of a better place to gather new heroes, should you come across such rarities, so that when needed, they can serve you in your quest against the void. Like the imp said to the ballista operator, shoot!
Unknown to all time, are you? Leave it to an imp to try to fill our minds with all manner of magical... I'll tell you who you are. Source hunters, members of the most esteemed order in Rivalon. Here to find out and grind out every last speck of dark magic in the realm. There, the enigma is solved. I knew you weren't the type to be taken in by such high-flying, pie-in-the-sky nonsense. Let the magical history imps fly their floating islands into the end of time. Then again, if what he says is true, and he really does know everything, he might be a mighty powerful... Imagine! Sorry, Zaxix, I haven't fixed your space carpet, but if you could tell me where the bearded source dragon of Fire Lake has made its nest, I'd be obliged. Useful indeed. Dancing dugongs, you nearly startled me. But what'll you do if the feline menace chooses this very moment to launch its offensive?
This isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Volume 1, Volume 2. But where's the third one gone? Shatsu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs.
The Source Hunter. Have you come to your senses? Have you changed your mind? Are you ready? Why? Simply because you hunt Source, and I, Jehan, hunt demons. You are aware, of course, that quite often both of these pests frequent the same shadowy pools of infamy. Now, I hate what I hunt, but I respect its cunning. Should I not, I'd have been... This is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be strength in cunning, yes, but also in numbers. On one condition, that on our joint travels we will never deal with demonic entities, no matter how tempting their propositions.
Kaj'Dinor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned.
You speak before your turn. I, for one, am not ready to make that promise.
Oh, simple souls. Oh, doomed spirits. What tangled webs you'd weave. But I won't be a fly to be caught in them. Begone. Reflect. And if you should see the light...
Volume 2? But where's the...
The Source Hunt. Why? Simply because you hunt. Now, This is a sentiment I'm... On one condition. That...
I concur. Some temptations just cannot be resisted.
Oh, simple souls. Oh, doomed spirits. What tangled webs you'd... Demonology for dumbbells.
Volume of poetry.
I need something more advanced.
What mayhem.
The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
Fortune!
Demonology for dumbbells. I need something more advanced. That's enough of that now!
Who placed this book here? A volume of poetry among novels? Murak. Mayhem.
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. What nonsense. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
The knight in see-through armor? Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom? Stenteken.
The Lesser
Esmeralda
Key
does
of
have a propensity for all things
What
naughty, hasn't she?
The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
Volume 1, Volume 2. But where's the third one gone? Shatsu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. What nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
The knight in see-through armor? Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom? Stenteken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
The Lesser Key of Sadakandras. What nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Kaj'Dinor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Teleron will have to pay yet another fine.
No, this isn't the grimoire I'm looking for. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
Kaj'Dinor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Teleron will have to pay yet another fine.
Demonology for dumbbells. I need something more advanced. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonium.
Kaj'Dinor.
And the first edition too. Most promising.
Returned. Teleron will have to pay yet another fine.
Demonology for dumbbells. Ugh. I need something more advanced. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
The knight in see-through armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Stentiken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
Demonology for dumbbells. Ugh. I need something more advanced. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Cache d'Honneur. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned.
Demonology for
Teleron will have to pay
dumbbells.
yet another fine.
I need something more advanced. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Cache d'Honneur.
The lesser
Brief history
key
of
of
sorcery still hasn't been
Sarakandaras.
returned.
What
Teleron will
nonsense.
have to pay yet
Is
another
there no
fine.
new book to be discovered in this library? The lesser key of Sarakandaras. What nonsense. Is there no new book to be discovered in this library?
Where's the third one gone? Shansu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
The lesser key of Sarakandaras.
Place this book here.
What nonsense.
A volume of poetry.
The
among
Pseudomonarchia
novels.
Daemonum.
Rack.
And the first
Mayhem.
edition, too. Most promising. Demonology for dumbbells. Ugh. I need something
Place
more
this book here.
advanced.
A
Is there
volume
no
of
new
poetry
book
among
to be
novels.
discovered in this
Rack.
library?
What mayhem.
The lesser key of Sarakandaras. What nonsense. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. And the first edition, too.
The knight in
Most
see-through
promising.
armor. Princess Buttercup. Hello again, adventurer. I hope you wiped those muddy boots on your way in. Things naughty, hasn't she?
Demonology for dumbbells. Ugh. I need something more advanced.
Place
Is
this
there
book
no
here.
new book to be discovered in this library?
Novels. Rack. Mayhem.
Oh, golly gosh! One who flaunts the highways and byways of silly old Sicile with the easy elegance of a puss with her tail in the air. But where are my manners? I am Maxine, and you must be one of those hunters one hears so much about. Charmed, I'm sure. Oh, he's a darling old Tom, isn't he? Paws over tails in love with me, and who can blame him? The feeling's, well, it's rather mutual, actually. But that pet of a puss simply doesn't have a penny to his name. At the risk of sounding as shallow as a spaniel, I can't but admit my love does not come unconditionally. What if we were to have kittens, he and I? They'd jolly well starve, wouldn't they, with an alley cat for a papa? Oh, dear Sam, he's such a good old bean. But he does rather reside at the bottom of the scratching pole, doesn't he? And dear me, what... I'm the mayor's cat, don't you know? Born and raised on velvets and viands of most exquisite varieties. Maxine rhymes with queen, after all, and dearest. That is... But of course, darling. Be my guest. Heavens forbid. No, fear is rather too strong a term there, hunter dearest. The predator's instinct is a trait we share, you and I. And though those rancid ramblers may not be quite as easy to put to the club... Oh, this quaint little town is a tad too parochial for one of my more urbane tastes.
But one has to make do, hasn't one? The fresh sea air does go to great lengths to invigorate one's spirit, that much I'll admit. And it is rather jolly to watch the ships sail in laden with all kinds of exotic wares, full of the little...
Wing of worm, brew and spice and stir and churn. Let us see if you can choose the finest greens.
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles we sent to the northern cave?
What's with you, bipeds and beer? No better drink than milk. So there's the rub. I am but a stray, and she is the mayor's cat. Oh, I do understand her, I do. She wants a would that I still had my collar. Such a marvel it was, as bejeweled as the night sky with precious stones, said to have once been worn by a far-off Maharaja's best hunting cheater. Like the king of all cats I looked when I wore it. A gift bestowed upon me by a princess whom I had kept company during a long and perilous voyage. A precious band of gemstones, lost as I was tossed around by the waves like a ball in a game of catch. Among the waves it remains, I imagine. Worn perhaps by a crab who fancies himself a Caesar with it. If only I could be the Caesar again, and Maxine my Caesarina. By all means.
Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
The closest I've got to my match is when I linger in the long bar lighting my pipe.
Oh, careful now. Your head's growing more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
What's with you, bipeds? Aye, so there's the rub. Would that I still had my collar. Such a marvel, like the king of all cats I looked when I wore it. A gift bestowed upon me by a princess whom I had kept company during a long and perilous... Among the waves it remains, I imagine.
Owen has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Let us...
Ready to advance, ready to defend. What can I do for onward?
Hail, Source Hunter. Why, I don't think I could ask for a more welcome sight on these cursed beaches. The Legion welcomes you. It's these orcs! Now they have bees in their bonnets about God only knows. We need every hand we can get. That rat-faced shaman of theirs even went to the trouble of launching a fireball at a ship in the harbour to the... It's hard to say. That ship needs attention, and fast, or she's as good as sunk. Got any special Source Hunter tricks to make a blue sky turn to a rain cloud? We Legionnaires are loyal servants to Captain Aureus and the Council of Seven. Been stationed inside Seal for more than a year now, with no end in sight. Beats me what traitorous madness came over that dog. A man among orcs? It'd be like one of your kind running with a sorcerer. Whatever the Cur's incentive to raise swords alongside that murderous lot, let's all hope it was a private grudge. Can you imagine if we had to add a slew of wild...
Good on you. These boss men respect confidence, you know. And so what did he say?
Well, what does it matter? Day labour's more suited to my nature anyhow.
Yes, honest pay for an honest day.
That loopy Legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Is that Bertie?
Yes, sir. As fine a specimen as one of her stock.
Ahoy, sailor! Are you enjoying the fresh winds of Sicile?
And don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to Ythildor anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy Legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst! Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Federal's carriage for a joyride?
No, he did. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to Ythildor anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy Legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst!
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing new, sir. Zombies, skeletons, you know the story.
He drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to Ythildor anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy Legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Is that Bertie?
Yes, sir. As fine a specimen as one of her stock, sir.
No, he didn't. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to Yuthel Gore anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that Orchid-chan loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Feddle's carriage for the joyride?
No, he didn't. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Ahoy, sailor! Are you enjoying the fresh? Aye, that Cecil's worse than a rooster. Crowing all around town about matters he ought to know are better kept quiet. Well, if you know about the staff, I suppose you also know it's gone without a trace. For my part, I haven't a clue where it could have gone. Overboard, stolen, or vanished into thin air. Though I'm quite eager to see it return. I've got a reputation. Wouldn't hurt to ask some of my men. I tried myself, but sailors tend to be a bit tight-lipped when they're afraid of getting one another in some trouble. Seaman's code, you know. Not to rat out a fellow sailor.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst! Shores? Here? Inside Seal? Bah! Of all the was too busy dodging fireballs to notice anything myself. But ask around a bit. Could be one of the other men. Passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to Yuthel Gore anymore? Sauce? Here in Seal? Of all that cursed hunks of rock. Now that you mention it, I noticed Dietmar, a fellow merchant travelling with us, carrying a sealed box off the ship during the attack. At the time, I figured he was just escaping with his personal effects. But it could well have been that staff you're talking about.
You know the story.
Well, sure, I saw him slip off the ship, but I haven't a clue where he could possibly be now. Captain Conrad's the man to ask for such matters.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that Orchid-chan loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst! Yes, ever heard about the time...
Tense dugongs, you nearly startled me out of my boots. Well, you've got my attention.
Back.
Shores? Here? Inside Seal? Don't know much about him myself, except that he and Captain have staff or what now? Don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Heard anything about the whereabouts of the magic stick yet?
Speaking of youthful gore...
What? That weasel has it for sure. But I'll tell you this. I didn't speak of that stuff to a soul on board. If he's the one who took it, he must have known it was on the ship before stepping foot on her decks. I'm sure he'll make a run for it, probably by boat. I'd look for him on an out-of-sight beach somewhere. He's probably there now, trying to launch a vessel in private. If he hasn't already escaped, that is.
Doesn't go anymore.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that Orchid-chan loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst! Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Feddle's carriage for the joyride?
No, he didn't. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to Yuthel Gore anymore?
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that Orchid-chan loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Still thinking about exploring the beach? You're free to go, though we Legionnaires are under strict orders never to abandon our posts, so we won't be able to back you. You don't look like you're quite ready to head out into the wilds to me. You may have the right number of champions in your party, yet in experience, I think you're lacking. Of course, the choice is yours. I certainly hope you know what you're doing, Source Hunter. Right, open her up, Legionnaires.
Look alive, my good man. This gate will be short work for a well-equipped contingent of orcs.
The Sicilians retreated from this battle, but what about the orcs?
Either they've taken to the sea, or set up an encampment in yonder caves. Keep your weapon at the ready.
You look, but you cannot see. I've spotted something.
Away with your weapons! Away! Leave humble orc to mourn in peace. I don't want to fight. I ain't after no fancy stone. I just want to bury these bodies the traditional way. Oh, it was such a dear lad he was. We wanted to see the world, but we saw next to nothing before he was called to serve the old mother in the afterlife. Don't play dumb with me, small bones. You know as well as I that your little city here won't be rid of us orcs till my kind gets that fence in our village. Oh, poor Oggy will never see it again. Tradition goes that a warrior should be buried with his best armor. There weren't so many spoiled after the battle, but I managed to give old Oggy the best set.
Agreed. Robbing the dead is bad enough. But to do it while a mourner looks on is simply vile.
Don't think I didn't see that twinkle in your eye when I spoke of the armor, small bones. But in our own town, we honour the dead by decorating their graves with whatever materials we have. In this case, it's wood. They look rather fetch.
You accidentally disturb any graves.
We made a promise to an orc, after all.
That pathetic heap of source-addled frogskin thought it could fool us, did it? Old Medora knows for certain that orc would have loved nothing better than to axe you in the back while it cried on your shoulder. Well, I didn't mean to imply that compassion is an unequivocally bad thing, you know. But I've yet to meet an orc who'd earned a soft hand. Though I suppose old Medora'd be, perhaps, overly dismissive.
Before my eyes! Healer!
Dancing dugongs, you nearly startled me.
Back on my feet again.
Into the fray once more.
I feel better already. Back on my feet again. On the mend. A stitch in time, eh, my friends?